Was the moderator.
Hey, Mike, have you got it?
Good morning, everyone. It's 9 o'clock on Monday, December 22nd. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Good morning again. Call the meeting to order. First, we're looking for approval of the agenda.
There's no addition or corrections. I'll go ahead and with the agenda.
I'll second. Have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Approval of the December 15th, 2025 minutes. Everybody run twice.
Actually,
Emily
I'm prepared, so I'll make a motion.
I can say. We have a motion and a second to approve the minutes from December 15th. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. New business, item number 1, fiscal year 27 GIS planning and zoning budget review. Good morning, Sarah. Morning, Sarah.
Morning, sir.
Doing well, thank you. Hopefully you got a copy of the budget ahead of time. Which one would you like to start with, since I think they're on different tabs for you guys?
I have the first being GIS.
So when we're looking at the GIS budget, do you want me to go line by line, or would you like
I
me
think
to
we
start
should
with the
I think
biggest?
line by line is best practice.
So when we're looking at salaries, we did the 2.8 cost of living increase. FICA, IPERS, those were the percentages of that 2.8% increase. Employee group share is about 20% of an annual family plan. Office supplies were the same. Mileage and substance is the same. Data processing and services, we did bump that up a little bit with going to Pro, the parcel fabric, as well as potentially a new maintenance contract for the plotter. Education and training, I did bump that up, as I will, if you look back in fiscal year 24-25, we overshot that budget by about $1,600. So I did bump it up by $2,000 this year to reflect training that will need done in my office for new hires.
Question on that too. Can we pick and choose some trainings once in a while, not hit so many trainings in a year, or do you feel it's very necessary we hit all the trainings in a year to keep that down a little bit?
So this training that was costing the majority is the actual GIS training through like GIS Tech. It's not like your ISAC and your Oktoberfest. Those are like $1,500 to $1,800 a class to get the. So you do just explaining. So like a week would be $1,800 for just the basic, and then you would do an advanced class at another $1,800. So that's just kind of the premium for those classes to get people trained for the pro program.
Very important. I get that. I'm just curious.
Are they in person or online?
Those are online week-long classes.
So $1,800 for an online class. Wow.
Yeah, GIS is a specialty program. When you're looking here at the data processing and layers, I bumped that up again to reflect changes in Sidwell, changes in Esri due to going from ArcGIS Map Desktop to ArcGIS Pro. Those have annual percentage increases like every other program. Dues and memberships, I did leave the same. And then equipment, that would be the biggest change there. I got quotes for plotters, as mine is 12 years old, and that's about $14,000. From Midwest Office Technology, $13,793. That expired this year. So if we're not doing the purchase this year, obviously we're going to have potential increase, as things usually go up rather than down when we go to do our budgets.
Zach, how much was yours? Similar? Is yours 5 years old?
Probably 4 years old,
But it's similar price.
a little less, but not a lot less.
Sarah, is yours similar to his?
I don't know what model he has.
Okay.
But you purchased it 4 years ago? Okay. I can get the percentage of
No,
inflation over the
I'm
past
not
few years.
requesting that. I'm just
Okay.
making sure it was in the ballpark.
No problem. I would like to let the office know, with my office doing multiple faucets and moving from regular GIS to the parcel fabric. I did reach out to Sidwell, just time constraints in the office, lower staff. That we had about 80 splits that I performed once already that I now have to do again in the parcel fabric since our data was delivered. Called a couple companies to see if they could assist. It was going to cost about $8,300 for them to assist. I chose to do the extra office hours and do those in-house to save the county money.
Thank you. So questions from the board to Sarah? I think she covered. Yeah, I think you covered my questions. I thought it was a typo at first on the equipment. I didn't realize.
Yeah, with it being so close.
Exactly.
The change, yeah. It was, like I said, just under $1,400 or $14,000 for that quote I just recently received.
Wish it would have been a typo, it'd been nice.
I know. Nice thing is we've had ours for 12 years.
No, I get it, thank you.
Yep.
Okay, if no other questions, we can move on to.
All right, so similar here, salaries for zoning, I did the suggested 2.8%. FICA, IPERS, those were as well, just the regular percentages off of there. Group insurance is about 15% of a family package if somebody were to choose family insurance. We didn't put any money in here for the Region 12 as we just got a comprehensive plan done and completed back in 24. Publications and
What did
notices.
that cost? Was that 12 grand recording? Do you remember? I got asked that Monday night or Wednesday night and I couldn't.
I thought it was
15.
closer to 15.
Okay, thank you.
It should be done about every 10 years.
10 years is
I
the
think it was
recommendation.
20 or 18
Yeah.
that it had been done previously before that. Down here in official publications and notices, I did bump that one up. Looking to hopefully have a scanning project done per Iowa code retention records. All building permits must be kept forever. You can't get rid of them. So potential for fire, water damage, that kind of stuff. We currently have that as they're not in an internet capacity, a digital capacity. So they are all just paper copies. You have paper deterioration. And with time constraints, office hours available, I was trying to get quotes there to get a project done. That is why that one went up.
I think you sent a supplemental letter along with that, or Courtney forwarded us. something.
Yep.
Okay.
Currently
So that's
waiting.
for every city in the county too?
No, those are just county
Just
permits from the
county
dawn of
permits.
time.
Okay.
County permits as well as meeting minutes. You have to keep those forever. And
Yep.
those are currently not stored digitally.
I see you had a concern about water damage or something like that on your letter.
There's the possibility always if a pipe were to burst or anything like that, there could be a fire. Those records are just in a cabinet that anything could be damaged at any point in time.
So Courtney, is it a similar scanning thing to what you have and what Ashton had then? Or I guess maybe I should be asking you.
I would hire a company to scan them and get them scanned in and digitized for us to have. I've reached out to several companies. I haven't had anything. The average is 19 to 27 cents per page. Well, 5 because my publication and notices is usually 1,000.
Does that sound fair, Ashton?
So much bigger, I guess. I don't even know the per page.
Okay. All right, thank you.
But it would make sense to. Is it something that you want the public to have access to, or is this just for, just for the county to have?
I'm happy to do it for the public. The public can request them at any time and then we get them, but then we have to go down, search for them, make sure they're filed correctly. So I'm happy with posting it online.
So this extra
Just-
5,000 would be just to play catch up with everything.
To
in the
scan
box.
everything in and then
Okay.
we would maintain it going
So it's a
forward.
one-time cost.
I'm
Yeah,
sure
that
you
would be my.
Saw in the payables, we pay an annual fee to ARCA Search to have that data. since we're already paying an annual fee, it might be nice to see if we can incorporate
Exactly.
her project with what we've already done, cause
Yeah.
then maybe with the annual fee wouldn't be a,
One database,
yeah,
exactly.
I'm just.
Mhm.
But
you haven't heard
we'd
back?
Very-
have to get a quote.
That makes sense to check it out,
Yeah,
I think.
Is that somebody you reached out to for quote?
I reached out to US Imaging and Arca Search
Okay,
for
perfect.
quotes. And then mileage and substitution, I left that all the same. So the biggest thing there would just to be able to get those all modernized, digitized, potentially able to search by the public, that way they can do it through our websites.
Questions from the board? I have none.
I think I'm good. Bill.
Thanks for explaining everything.
Thank you. Have a great day.
Yes. Item number 2, fiscal year 27, recorder budget review. Good morning, Ashton.
Morning, Ashton.
We all got the cover sheet from you and your budget or proposed budget.
Perfect. Good morning.
Morning.
As far as the budget worksheet, as far as the revenue, I kind of just usually do an average of the last 3 years. So if there's any change, it was just because the average of the last 3 years changed, nothing major, just small little adjustments to try to get it as accurate as possible. And as far as the expenses, I did wanted a salary. Sorry, what?
2 different.
Right, yep, one with 2.8 as you guys had asked. And then one with comparables to other county recorders, like the code says to share comparables with you guys. I just did.
There's 2 of them. One of them. Right here's the difference. Flip to your next page.
Yep.
One's got the.
Oh, I don't know where your second one is.
I got it.
Do you need I have an extra. Which one?
Okay.
He needs a 6.5. I have a.
That's 3 holes in it. That's the one he needs.
That's the 6, yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is it.
I did, I get that.
Okay, continue, sorry.
So the one budget, no major changes in the expenses either. I just did the one with the 2.8% salary increase, as you guys had suggested, just to start looking at numbers. And then per code, we're supposed to give comparables. So I did 5.
You want to just read your letter?
Yeah.
You mind?
Yep. Having served the county for nearly 15 years, I value every aspect of my role. Over the years, I have remained committed to supporting the public and ensuring the office operates smoothly, accurately, and consistently. I take pride in the work we do and the services we provide to the residents. I compiled salary data from 10 counties with populations comparable to Carroll, 5 slightly larger and 5 slightly smaller. The calculated and current average recorder's salary is $84,585. Assuming these counties receive a standard 2.8% cost of living adjustment this year, their updated average would increase to approximately $86,953. In comparison, my current salary is $81,874. To bring my compensation in line with this COLA adjusted average and to ensure it remains competitive with peer counties of similar size, an increase of approximately 6.25% would be needed. So to summarize, I prepared 2 budgets, one reflecting the 2.8 cost of living and one reflecting the 6.25% increase. And I just wanted you to have these options. I hope they're helpful as you consider the county's budget priorities. I know you guys have a lot of stuff to look at, but I just
So
wanted you to have the
you wanna
2.8 and then
go
the
over the-
comparables.
Want to go over the comparables or?
I'm looking at the comparables here too. And that goes for all departments at Washington County. I don't think that's fair to add. That's not just for you, Ashton. That's for all of them. They've got a casino. They get a lot of revenue, and they've spent pretty poorly in their last few budgets. So not just you, but I think all elected officials. I think we need to take the Washington County
No.
out of there.
And I'll tell you, just from past history, Washington County's been way out of the ballpark. I've always thrown them out.
Yeah. So just for future reference for all elected officials, I think we need to get rid of that one. Okay, thank you.
Yep.
Does anybody else have any, I mean, it's straightforward other than, salaries.
Right.
And you have one deputy that reflects off of that, correct?
Correct.
And you're still keeping the, part-time salary, you still are,
Yep. She's at 25 hours a week.
okay. And that's.
And
fine.
either budget, I just kept her at 2.8%. Mhm.
Everything looks good to me. I think you're doing a very good job, but thank you very much.
Yeah.
I have no further questions. Do you?
I do actually have a question, and this is, I have to ask this because I sit on a group. And they've thrown around a couple ideas and I want your input and I want your honest input. I know we consider Carroll County kind of a hub and a headquarter for a lot of surrounding communities, and we want to pull and keep continuing pull from other counties for economic development. But one thing from a state level, there's been a lot of talk about consolidation, kind of doing an insider doge type thing. How do you feel? And I know there's 5 other counties that have already done this. They have dissipated their recorder's office and the auditors have taken on those responsibilities. Just with technology nowadays and a lot of things going online. I just was concerned, obviously, because we still want to provide that service to our customers and to the county. What are your thoughts on some of those counties looking to do that?
I believe in Iowa, there's 2 counties who have done that. And
There's 5 now.
I'd have to look.
Yeah.
I know of 2. From my understanding, it ends up not being a cost saving because they end up paying someone a lot more to oversee something different. And for example, in Carroll County, we run a very small office. So let's say that you get rid of the recorder, you're gonna have to find someone to replace. You have a working recorder, ultimately. I think maybe in some of the bigger counties, maybe, I can't speak for them, but maybe they have extra staff where you could cut a few staff members. I don't know. But if you cut me, you're gonna have to hire someone to replace me. That would be my,
I just didn't understand. I mean, obviously, I'm not a reporter, so I
Yeah.
don't understand that position very well.
and I think
I
that's,
appreciate your honesty. I just kind of wanted to know.
yeah,
What are their thought processes? Because clearly, the state is cutting services left and right,
Mhm.
and they're trying to save money, that ultimately saving tax dollars off our constituents. But I think as a county, we need to look at doing a better job of if we have to consolidate or do things like that, creating our own little doge, if you will.
yeah, there could be some big changes in this legislative session for sure. Mhm.
I didn't, obviously, we have to have an open line of communication,
Yeah,
I would hope you would ask us questions on like, why do you do
Sure.
this, or how do you feel about that?
and I hate to talk for other counties, but I don't know that I'll have working recorders like I'm proud to say that I am.
Yeah.
I'm here every,
So is
I
that
mean,
something that's on a ballot in order to
Yeah.
combine?
Yeah, if you were.
We can't, the board
No,
can't make that
no,
decision.
it's not, it
It
has
has
to,
to be by petition.
Yeah.
Not on a ballot.
Yeah, okay,
I wanted her opinion because of her, I mean, that's her,
exactly.
she knows it better than anybody else, so.
yeah, I think there's some counties who don't have a working elected official.
Courtney, if we were to do that, would that be a referendum vote? Or would it be on a
It
general
would have to
election?
be, the public would have to request that to be on the ballot.
Okay,
And then it would be a vote during
I know it
a
has nothing
general
to do with
election.
supervisors.
so it's a petition vote.
Yeah, I do know that Carroll County has looked at that before, but when they did the numbers, Ashton's right. You would have to hire somebody to replace the recorder because we have a working recorder. So there wasn't a ton of cost savings available because you have to replace that person. Whereas like bigger counties, they probably, if they didn't have a working recorder, they
Could
would
be
have probably
absorbed.
saved money.
Okay,
Well, thanks for answering my question.
Yeah, yep, absolutely. Good question.
thank you, Ashton.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 3. Fiscal year 27 Veterans Affairs Budget Review. Good morning, Twain.
Morning.
Morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. So first, I just wanted to say that the commissioners and I went over the budget.
No, I just thought of something. Have you met Mark?
Yes,
Okay.
I get to see him.
I see him quite often.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yep,
okay,
I
gotcha.
do.
Okay, thank you.
Is that-
So we reviewed the budget beginning of the month, and my chair commissioner, Jim Brugman, was planning to attend today, but unfortunately he had a death in his family this morning, so. Yeah, so anyway, thoughts and prayers go out to him and his family. So moving forward, starting with the revenue, we get the $10,000 from the state. They tell us not to expect that every year, but as long as we send in at the end of the year, at the fiscal year, we do the allocation annual report. So long as you send that in, we get the money.
But there's restrictions you can spend that on, right?
Right, yeah.
Can you tell me exactly what?
So I
those are?
cannot give like money straight to a veteran. I can use it for outreach. I can use it for certain office equipment.
Grave markers?
No,
No.
I wish no. So it'd be like general office supplies, trainings I can use it on.
It's not salaries or nothing like that.
You can if you, you know, but usually, yeah, you can use it on salaries if you want. So that is an option.
I knew there were some restrictions. with it.
Yeah, there's a whole list. If you guys need that, I can get it to you. Then moving down to the administration section of expenses. I had the 2.8 COLA for the salary. And then for the FICA was a 7.65 increase. And IPERS, the 9.44% increase. And then employee health insurance, the proposed 5%. The rest of the lines we kept the same. And then down for the general services to veterans, we got rid of the first three lines because we have not used those.
Thank you.
Well, I figure if I'd done my job correctly, they can get medications through the VA healthcare cheap. You know, they can get extra money for compensation if they get service connected. I mean, not that it's gonna apply for everybody, but most of them. And then they'd have extra income coming in to help pay for those utilities or rent or whatever. And I did talk with general assistants at New Opportunities, and they got that there too. So that, well, she hasn't referred anybody to me in the past year. I talked to her after budget last year. And so she knew what we had, but I haven't got anybody. So might as well.
Well, thank you for zeroing them out.
Yeah, so we got rid of that. The funeral services we'll keep at $900. The grave markers, we have to, we're asking $400 more, $2,400, just because the grave marker price has gone up. So it's $38 per grave marker, and then that's not with the rod. The rod's $6.45. And it's made out of copper and brass, so it's pricey. Let's see. Motor vehicle, we would like to move that up to the administrations. We haven't yet had anybody use that. Those little amounts there is what I use for the van, which probably I shouldn't have done, but it's for the veterans. And we just like to have it in the administrative part so that we can use it for the VA van for just little things like Kleenex or, you know, hand sanitizer, stuff like that. So
So is most of that expenses paid by the state then on that van?
little stuff like that. Yeah, everything else is paid, like oil changes or anything that needs
Okay.
to be fixed. This is just little stuff that they don't cover. So I'm fine with moving that up to the administration if you guys are okay with that.
They're just incidentals that you need to
Just
have.
little stuff, air freshener, I mean, just tiny things.
I
Yeah,
don't have a problem.
I
with
don't
that.
either. Does anybody? Yeah.
okay. And then for the agriculture, that was the mowing of the cemeteries at these small church cemeteries. When I told you guys last year that they repealed that from the Iowa code. So a lot of counties got rid of that, and I finally found out the reason why was because some of these cemeteries they were double dipping because the township was paying them.
Wow.
And then they were also getting the county money on top of it. So that's why they got rid of it. We still want to continue. I think I will send out a letter, which they know if a township's helping or perpetual care, anything like that, we won't pay. But just as a reminder that this is no longer an Iowa code, and then they have to verify. Because there's no way of me checking on that township. I mean,
So how many, Dedham has don't they have a unique cemetery there?
so they have the city and then the Catholic.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So like the city, they used to, but they don't anymore. They charge the perpetual care, so. So that's we can look into too. I'll see how many where we're at next year at this time. We might decrease that a little bit, maybe not, I don't know, but I don't want to turn around and ask for more money next year, so. So the total expenses is 98,881, so it's $1,034 more. But with that said, in the general assistance for the veterans, we're $1,200 less, and that includes the 400 increase for the grave markers, so. Yeah.
Hope I think you do a very good job. Thank you.
I have no questions. Anybody else have questions?
They'll provide a lot of services. I mean, you get that what is that, GA report?
How much money did you bring in? How much money did Veterans Affairs bring to Carroll County last year?
775,000.
Thank you.
I mean, that's not the perfect amount, but it's around that.
Yeah, that's what what do you call that report?
The GDX report.
GDX, there you
Yes.
go.
Do you need a copy of that? I get that every year.
I would.
I'd like it if you mailed it
Yeah.
out. I'd
Okay.
look at it.
Okay. So,
You can send it to Courtney and she can forward it to us, or you
Okay.
can send it to us directly.
yeah, we get that. And then every month we get the county monthly one. So we review that at our commissioner meetings too. So,
Because wasn't like 8 years ago, wasn't that a lot less?
yeah.
Oh,
7
yeah.
years ago,
Oh,
6
yeah.
years ago, yeah.
Yeah, and it fluctuates, it depends on how many veterans are 100% service connected.
Yep.
If they pass away, or if they move away, or it
Yep.
fluctuates, but yeah, we're always above the 700,000, so.
From my understanding, you do a very good job.
Well,
That's
thank
right.
you.
Thank you.
Thank
I've
you.
heard a lot
Connie.
of good reports.
You got to keep talking for 3 more minutes because our next one doesn't start till 9:30. You're
Well,
We're good.
Thank you, Tanya.
Yep,
Thank you.
yep.
Item number 4, 9:30 a.m. Carroll County Fair fiscal year 27 funding. It's only 9, a little bit early. We are early.
Good morning.
Good morning. If you'd like to introduce yourself.
Yep, for those who don't know me, I'm the new Carroll County Fair President, Dan Behrens. I took up for Brian Sander, who's been doing it the last 3 years. And pretty much the rest of our team has remained the same. I've been on the board for now going on my 4th year. And I'm actually 3rd generation part of the fair board. My grandfather was a part of it. My father was a part of it. And my daughter, who's the fair queen now, will be the 4th generation into Carroll County Fair. So this is big and important into our county and our families and everybody around. So
Nice to meet you, Dan.
we appreciate that. And one of the things that we have here that I'll pass out that we got from our last Iowa Fairs meetings that was held 11th through the 14th. Here's just some information that came throughout the state. They put together with numbers for the past year that was there.
Thank you.
We did not get those information until after we had to present our information to you. So, you can look them over if you want a little time.
Anything
or-
up for you?
One of the biggest things that I would say, if you look into down on the bottom of the first page where it tells you about youth interaction, 4-H FFA, animal exhibitors, number of animals, non-livestock exhibitors, both 4-H and FFA. And then also they have what you call an open class. And that's one of them a little bit on the rise. But as you can notice, the livestock has dropped down a little bit. But we're trying to hold on to the non-livestock one. And as we all know, in our county and in our area and in the state, livestock and agriculture altogether is a big part of our economic growth. And one of the things that we look at and what we try to prove to people is 4-H and FFA is not just livestock. There's a lot of different things that come on. A lot of these kids present different projects. We all talk about, welding is a big one that we talk about in the industry in the state that is in need of. We actually have a project that goes on at the state, or at our county fair every year. It's called Bucket of Junk. We've had local welders and people that give us parts and pieces of metal that they don't need anymore. What we do is put it in a bucket. It was started by a local farmer of ours that thought this would be cool to have. And it allows these kids to go in and make projects, welding. Whether or not they'd be with their, if they're an FFA and their advisor helps them out, their fathers, their mothers, whoever. themselves, brothers, sisters. They make projects. And some of these are, if you haven't been down there to see this in the last few years, it's astronomically great. We actually wanted them to put them on auction. People had asked us to put them on auction. They wanted to buy. They were that neat. But that puts these kids into things that get them into.
Where were they at this year? I was down there. I don't. Was
They
in the
were,
exhibit hall?
yeah, they were in the actual in the exhibit hall. Yep, they were off to the side, trying to move them around. They were off to the south west corner a little bit.
Okay. Next year. Okay.
Yep.
Thank you.
But there was a lot of different ones. They outsold the buckets and we brought more in. So that's just one of the aspects. But there's a lot of different projects that go on that I don't think many people understand what goes on, what we try to focus on. So that was our goal this year in the going into 2026, but in 2025 is to really focus on these kids because we have to keep these kids going. Every year there's just a dimmer closer and closer away from agriculture, from the farm, from whatever. But there's a lot of things that this county needs, the next generation of people coming up. So we want to continue to keep them here, keep people coming to the fair to show their talents, their appreciation. Because there's little things that even they don't have a project, it might just be a poster board or a project that they worked on. And we have young kids that come that are not even a part of it, but we want to continue to bring that and grow. So we know that livestock is, can become challenging. The cost of everything, now with cattle and hogs and everything is being higher and parents moving away from the farm, we've got to find ways to keep them coming. So we've tried to challenge communities and clubs to work together. You might have families that are going to try to work together to, hey, this one doesn't have a way to do it. They're in town, but they love livestock, to bring them in and have them share it at their place so they can come there and do that. So that's one of the big things that is my biggest goal is 30 years ago. I know there was a gentleman here that everybody knows sat in here and said, we're going to try to work to go forward on the fair and get it going again and bring it back to where it needs to be. That's my first year here and that's my goal. We're going to the next level because we got to keep this county going. We got to keep people going and we want to bring people down there and showcase what our county has to offer because I feel we have a lot of talent there that's not being shown. People all look at, we say Carroll County Fair and the first thing everybody thinks of is our figure eight racing. Well, that was one of the biggest things that brought money to have us have a fair so that we continue to showcase the kids and improve things and buildings and all that. So that's one of the things that we looked at. And as we went to last year, in the last 2-3 years was insurance. Insurance is a big push on us. Our last year we paid $31,200 in insurance. 5 years ago, that was under $25,000. So we really
Last year you
pushed.
were short one race, correct? Because of weather?
Yeah,
You only
we
had
ended up
5.
with short one race and it was our first annual, what we would have called a dirt duels. We're going to do a 2-night race. We actually had scheduled people from as far away as Oklahoma to come because we put it out there and people thought it was cool and they were going to come. Well, we had to make a decision of Mother Nature told us, sorry, you ain't having it. So we did end up going down later on in the year and just having an extra side one, just to try to help recruit some of it, to recoup some of the money. So yeah, it was a kind of a damaging effect because it was right during fair. And that's
Looks to me like your two biggest fundraisers or your two biggest are grandstand beer during the fair and figure eight racing.
yeah. And
That's
that's,
that up to 130 grand.
yeah. And those are big things that if you hit one off, it takes, you're not just hitting one, you're hitting two. What we want to do is what we have for a little bit of money that you can spend, come down and enjoy everything. We were hit with a bang last year. Is actually our carnival told us 3 days ahead of time before we were going to have the fair. Sorry, we're not coming. So on the 4th of July weekend, we were making calls and we got an inflatable company to actually come down and bring us inflatables, which we had demand. But the problem was, being we had inflatables. If you have a carnival, our insurance was fine. But being we have inflatables, we had to pay an extra $2,400 in insurance because of an inflatable. So lucky to say, if everything goes well, we found another carnival this year that's within Iowa. So they were excited to come. So we're hoping that brings some more. But what we want to try to do is get everybody from the county to come. We're just seeing some areas that just aren't showcasing that. I think we need to pull as many people from Carroll, you know, everywhere around just to get them there, because if you haven't been there in a while, come down and look. We've even done some improvements and we're continuing to want to do some improvements. But one of the biggest things, like you said, is the races. We average 60 to 65 cars on races, but we also average 30 to 35 volunteers. Our thing is run by volunteers, and it does. And we have people that come down and work their tail off to do it. So as you can see this year, we're looking, because of costs, and we return over half of our funds back, you know, that we get from the county, we return back to the exhibitors. So this year with our insurances going up, last year doing that, and we are increasing our the FFA and 4-H members, trying to get those exhibitors back up and trying to get them to do more projects. That increases the ribbon money or refund that we give back to them on their what I want to say, their ribbon money, we call it. But then we also give chance to the livestock kids on a auction after the fair is over with. We have businesses, local people can come down, anybody can come down and bid on these kids. You know, we start at 50 and we go up to 300 to try to give them a little extra cash, a little extra money for doing the work that they do. But so as you can see, we went from 13.5 last year up to 17,000. Biggest part of that comes from paying out more, plus insurance costs going up. But you know, as you can read through it, and I told you, as being my first year here, my goal, and I mean, I made it pretty fresh to the board that 30 years ago, there was the last time that we made a big push. And I want to do another big push. And our biggest thing we want to look at is putting it back, a big crunch back into the kids, because that's who's going to be our future.
And you're a volunteer too, correct?
I'm a volunteer. I'm not paid, but I've been around it long enough. We only have a secretary that gets paid a little bit a month to do all the secretarial work for us, which is very little. And our treasurer gets paid a little bit to do the financial parts of it. Everything else is volunteer based. And if you guys did not know this, the last 2 years at the Iowa State Fair, our volunteers were asked to run the state figure 8 racing. And when our guys were down there was people asking them.
Nice feather in your cap.
It is, but it's just a thing to show that, you know, how worthy we are to take, you know, for the kids. The guys were asked down there, God, how much you guys get paid to come down here to do this? We said, nothing, we're all volunteers. They looked at him funny, says, you volunteered to come down here? Yeah, because our guys are passionate about it. They're passionate about the kids, they're passionate about what they do. And you can see that if you come down. I mean, I know it's a few of you, but I know ones that there come down. It's amazing. Just spend a little time with the kids, spend a little time with the people. For a little bit of money you pay, you get a lot to show, where we know a lot of other counties do big events that you pay for the event, not fair. We pay one day, you get to do it all. And we're requesting that a little bit extra money to cover some of these costs, but some of the things we have done, you know, the businesses, the ventilation system now for not just for livestock, but for people to sit in the vent. We put a new one on there, if you've seen that. And actually that L-shaped building is, if you come around the corner to come into the main entrance, that building was put in there in 1923. That was one of the first buildings to be put on that fairgrounds. And many people don't understand the really true history of the fair.
Isn't it a tri-county?
Used to be the 4-county fair. 4 counties, but before that, it was up here south of Carroll. In 1851, they started that.
Well, 1951.
Well, they're really hurting on you, Jeep.
I know, but I do remember.
Yeah.
I do remember being out here south of Carroll.
Yep. But then
Don't say anything.
but then a fire hit and they had to take it, you know, they had no insurance and they're destroyed, and then they had to ask. And there were 2 local guys down in Garson and Thompson down in Coon that said, we'll donate land and lumber. We'll donate the land to put it on and lumber to start building it up again. So that is why it's in Coon Rapids. That's why it is where it is, because we had donations from somebody down there. And from there, that's where it's been. But yes, it was a 4-county fair. It was Carroll and Audubon and Guthrie and Greene were together. And I actually was a part of that myself as a 4-H'er until 1989, I think, is when they changed it over and went back to the Carroll County Fair. So I actually, when I left, it was the Carroll County Fair. But before that, I was a part of the 4-county fair. It's just amazing. I mean, you just, I guess I don't know, have enough words to say. But if you know people that have never been down there, come down there and spend the time. Just watch the kids, watch the different things. You know, we say, oh, there's competition between towns. Come down there and watch these kids.
It's pretty cool, cause I know I was down there and you got the families together with the kids and stuff down there hanging out, and they're camping out. And
Yep.
It's
When I was
pretty
there
neat.
this year, they were showing the sheep.
It's really neat.
Yeah.
Yep. And I don't know if you guys notice now when you come in there this past year, we built the family fun zone.
Yep.
It's for kids just to go in there and have fun underneath the roof. And that's our another goal is to try to put it somewhere where if weather hits us different, we can adhere to them and have fun with, kids can have fun even when it's raining and wind is blowing, whatever it takes, but that's a goal. And we've already put it out to all the 4-H clubs and FFA clubs that we want to know what they want, what they'd like to see, what can we do for them to help them. That's already been out there now and we're hoping to get it back by February 1st to go forward. So if you guys have any more questions or that I
So
would,
basically your goal or your ask is, we've been at 13,500 the last couple of years.
Yep.
This year you're asking for 17.
it's for 17,000, just to cover our differences and upshur insurance costs and little things extras because we pay out over half of what we
Yeah,
come
I-
into the kids.
I like the prep work you did
Yep,
on the.
it's
what you
very
said.
nice.
And it's not just, I mean, guys, the first thing I say is, I'm not just one person. I'm not just president. We're a team. And that's what we call every time. We're a team. So we all work together. We all ask each other questions.
What's your question, Gene?
Go ahead, Gene.
My question is, these wristbands, is that during the fair itself?
You will get wristbands that you can buy ahead of time and get wristbands that come to the fair and you can buy a 1 day, you can buy a full week's.
Get back to, okay, so the wristbands is for multiple days.
You can buy multiple days or single days.
Okay.
Yep.
Do you keep track of the difference of revenues through the gate from fair versus
Non-fair
figure?
from the races. Yeah,
You do?
they do.
But you don't show that in here though.
We have, it is not in here. I'd have to ask Jim. Jim was gonna be here today and Yeah.
That's I would like to see that sometime.
Yep,
Okay.
we have it available that we get because we keep track of those things. And one of the things that we're looking at doing, Gene, to keep it a little easier is I want to have everybody have counters, the little clicker counter that you can click every time you have one. Sometimes it helps because when you're busy and if you've been through that, when everybody's coming through is to understand how many people are actually coming through. But they try to do a good job because we put out so many bands to each front gate, back gate, depending on where we're at. And then try to count them at the end of the day when we're all said and done. So that way it gives us an idea.
All 6 figure eights help your revenue too.
Yes,
Mother Nature.
Mother Nature would hold it together. That would be wonderful. But as we know, and I guess we're not as unfortunate as some of the other counties were. If you guys followed some of these other fairs, some of these other fairs were drowned out. Yes, completely flooded out. We were down there and talked to a bunch of them and different things that went on. And that's one thing good about our Association of Fairs meetings. I've been at 3 of them now. Last year and this year was the ones where I spent all the days there. And just talking to the people, just talking to the fairgoer people, what they do differently, what they change, ideas. Man, we bang things off of each other. That you sit in little conversations. You never met the person, but you go up, shake their hand and say, hey, I heard you speak. I want to understand what's going on. And
It never hurts.
it does not hurt. And the biggest thing about it is we learn things every year to help bring ours to a little bit better thing every year. So if anyone have any more questions for me, all I would say is if you have friends and people, please send them down. The little bit of money that they can spend, it's an enjoyable day. And we all appreciate and thank you again for all the help you had throughout the years. Thank you very much.
Thank your board for your volunteers. That's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Dan, thank you. Item number 5, fiscal year 27 conservation budget. Good morning, Jason. Good morning.
Morning, Jason.
So you only prepared one with your additional ask, right? You didn't do the straight 2.8.
I did not.
Is that something you were recording this year? So we have both of them.
I can.
Okay.
That's not a problem.
I think most departments are kind of doing it that way, and then they have a separate one with the additional ask.
I can do that and email it to Courtney and she can email it out.
Thank you.
So yeah, my budget this year, other than wages and insurance isn't really changing a whole lot. Under revenues, I moved a little bit around some different categories, but overall I'm projecting our revenues to stay about the same under a general basic, at 244,000.
We go through this line by line, Jason, where the
Sure.
decreased camping fees.
Yep. So camping was about similar with last year. It was down a little bit. The COVID years really upped camping, so we're kind of just trying to get that number a little more realistically representative of camping. The cabins, they're staying pretty consistent from year to year, which is good to see. Pretty much the only one that I bumped up was our shelter rentals. Those have seemed to be increasing, which is good. So I bumped that one up to be more in line with what we're seeing for revenues there. And then kind of everything else I've left pretty much the same. We had our equipment bumped up last year because we were going to sell some equipment outright instead of trading it in, and we're going to probably maybe do that again this year. We got some older equipment we're going to try to sell that we don't use as much anymore. So overall, our revenues are staying up pretty consistent with last year. Then on the expense side, under administration, again, I had some changes that we discussed with our conservation board, and they approved some additional pay for certain positions. Did everybody get that?
Yeah.
Yes.
So who comes out of the administrative side?
So the administrative side is myself, our office manager, our naturalist, and our environmental education coordinator.
Say that again.
Myself, our office manager, our naturalist, and our environmental education coordinator.
Okay.
So our two EE staff. So our Iowa County Conservation System, as you guys know, does a salary survey of every employee in the Iowa County Conservation System every year. So that's what those first two columns are, the statewide median, statewide average. And then I do have a comp group that I compare to that are similar in population size to Carroll County. And then also that kind of have a similar structure on staffing. So it kind of is comparable. And that group, if Gene remembers back to when we had the employee union for the conservation, that list is kind of similar to what we used back then. Some counties have changed it a little bit, but for the most part. So that's kind of what I try to
So
compare.
you don't do
to.
like population wise or neighboring counties or anything then?
I do, the comp group is fairly similar in population size.
Okay.
So all plus or minus like 5,000.
Right.
And there's 36 counties in there that I kind of look at. So that's kind of what I try to, the statewide numbers can get a little fuzzy because some of the counties, the bigger counties, pay a lot better and have a lot more employees. So to me, that kind of skews those numbers higher a little bit. So I kind of like staying with counties our size. I think it is more representative of the working group in those size of counties and our staff and what those counties have for staff to keep it kind of similar. So that's where I came up with these. So we can kind of just go through them quick. So for the director and our two park techs, I'm staying at the 2.8. And then for our operations supervisor, E coordinator, office manager, and the two park rangers, I'm at 5%. And then our naturalist, who was behind, I put at 8%. So those are the numbers I figured into my budget. Those were the numbers that the conservation board approved at our December meeting. So that's the numbers that I'm going with. I will throw a budget together with just 2.8% across the board.
Thank you.
By going, just, I'll prepare it, but just so you know, in addition, if we do these, the 5% and the 8%, it adds about $8,400 to the budget
Thank you.
rather than doing the 2.8%. But I'll put that together.
Does that include IPERS and FICA, or is that just salary line?
That includes,
Okay, thank you.
Jason, I was at your conservation meeting when they approved this, but,
Yep.
I have a question on the park rangers.
Yep.
They are pretty relevant in your, comp group average.
Yep.
And can you explain to us why, you want to jump those to 5%?
so the lower paid park ranger, that jump to 5% gets us right in with the comp group. And the comp group and the statewide average years of service are about right around 8 years of service.
Okay.
So that's about where he's at. It's gonna be about 8 years of service. And then our other park ranger, has been here 35 years.
Okay.
So to me, years of service, mean a little bit. And, just looking at the statewide averages, in addition to the comp group, the statewide average, so the average length of service for a park ranger statewide is 8 years, and he's got 35 years of service in. So I think that deserves something.
And that also comes with, free lodge or free room and board, correct?
Correct, yes,
So right now, 3 people get free room and board.
yes,
Okay. The director and both park rangers.
correct.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yep. So those were the changes that I discussed with my board, and that's what I put in for numbers into this budget worksheet. So going through administration, really that, and then we do have a change with insurance. We have 2 of our employees under administration that aren't on county insurance, so there's a savings there, even though I figured in the 5% increase for the ones that are still on county insurance. So we have some savings there. Pretty much all the other line items I'm leaving the same. Under administration. And then under maintenance and operations. Again, we talked about the salaries, so that's a difference there. The insurance. A jump.
So those are the remainder of the people then?
Yep, the remainder of,
So that's office manager and,
yeah, so under administration, it would be our operations supervisor, our 2 park rangers, and our 2 park technicians. So insurance figured in the 5%. The only other, under our fuel costs, I bumped that down $4,000. Just because fuel prices are more favorable than when they were higher a few years ago. We bumped that line item up, so I'm bumping that back down. I mean, in response to kind of what we're seeing last year, and so hopefully we can continue that trend maybe in that line item next budget year. Everything else, let's see. Moving pretty much the same.
you went up 2,000 on
I
building.
went up, building repairs, I just went up a little bit.
Is there anything big planned?
Nothing big planned, but, we are looking at replacing some furniture and stuff in one of the cabins next year, so we're doing some this year. I'm just bump that up a little bit to help with some of that. Under equipment, we went down a little bit for equipment, what we're planning on for this coming fiscal year. We have 3 zero-turn mowers that we use for the majority of our mowing work. We usually trade those off as a group of 3, so every 3 years, so they're up this year. They each will have about 1,200 hours on them. And that's kind of when they start going out of warranty, so we usually just do that every 3 years. So that's the year, this is the year for that, and then we're trading in our track skid loader, which is a 2021 John Deere model. It's got about 2,000 hours on it, so. Those two things we're gonna do for equipment this coming fiscal year. So under expense total for general basic, our expense total is going up $858. With some changes and stuff in there, so. And then, let's see. Does anybody have any other questions under general basic?
So under your sanitation and disposal, you added $1,500.
Yeah, we
So
added,
if you get the new permanent potty, will that drop? If you get the,
that's for like our dumpsters and stuff.
Oh, okay.
And we added a couple dumpsters this year, so different locations, so that's why we went up with that. If there's no questions under general basic. Under REAP, that's just money in for right now. We're not planning on spending anything out of REAP, so that's usually around 13,000, depending on where the legislature sets the REAP funding at. So that'll just be a revenue there.
How much you have in that fund?
I think it's around 70,000.
70,000.
Let's see, and then under capital projects, revenues, I bumped our trail revenue down just a little bit. We're seeing just that kind of steady off a little bit, around 15 to 16,000. We have sold a lot of lifetime passes, so we see some of our annual revenues going down because of the lifetime pass sales.
is that over like 500, 1,000? How many roughly lifetime?
I'd have to look.
But
I
no
don't know right
idea.
off the top of my
ballpark.
head.
Okay.
Back up one from there, that maintenance and operations, the Swan Lake Road maintenance.
Yep.
That's the state.
Yep.
We have a check from them.
Yeah.
Just to help maintain that.
Yep. For the,
Is it max at that every year? Or?
yeah, it's set at so much per mile of road that you have, so.
Do they have a plan to replace it or
Yeah.
to resurface it?
Yeah, we're looking at 2028 right now as a split project,
And that'll be covered by the state?
half and half, county
Okay.
and state. So that's kind of why we're,
That comes out secondary roads, the other half.
yep.
Find some good fun.
There's some areas that are a little rough.
Yeah, yeah. So-
Right when you enter the park from the east or the west, it's,
Yep, so that's on the plans, so. With the state too, so. Everything else, I'm leaving pretty much the same. Campground improvements, I bumped that down because that's kind of a percentage of what we bring in for camping, so I just bumped that down a little bit to be more realistic. So yeah, so overall revenues, they're down a little bit under capital just because I made a couple changes there, but really fairly consistent. And then under projects we're planning on doing, we still have the 2 gravel road intersections that we are going to pave across on the Sauk Rail Trail. So those are still in the works. So that's under our trail maintenance. The tax payments that we have to make on properties. Gun range improvements, that's just for buying targets and stuff. And then buildings at Swan Lake, I left that the same. Last year we talked about doing that kind of covered shed down at our maintenance facility to get our vehicles and trailers and stuff under. That kind of got pushed this year because we got that grant to do the Great Western Park Shelter House. So that's kind of, we're doing that project this fall, then we'll plan on doing this project next fiscal year, next kind of as a full project next year. So we'll I just put that one.
And that's a total remodel inside there.
In Great Western,
Yeah.
yeah.
When is the new bathrooms from?
What,
When will we get the new bathrooms?
that we got the grant for
Yeah,
in the spring,
spring.
Yep.
Where's that one?
down by the fish house. So,
Dock also.
the dock also, yep, they'll both be in the spring. So. And that was 100%.
So we'll fish, right?
And that grant was 100%. There's no cost share involved with that one. That was just 100% coverage, so.
That's awesome.
That
They'll
was-
save 150 a month on the porta potty too.
Yeah, exactly.
Anybody have questions on the conservation budget? I have none. Other than provide Courtney the regular 2.8 all the way across.
And thank you for what you do.
Thank you,
The
Jake.
buildings look very nice.
Thank you. All right, you all have a Merry Christmas.
All right.
Two
Yeah,
days.
Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.
Item number 6, approved payables. We had an adjustment. An addition. The new amount is $368 cents.
Can I ask why the adjustment?
IT had their credit card bill cut in, time sensitive evidently.
It just came in yesterday.
I don't know, ask Courtney.
Towards the end of the day, Friday.
We've got our juvenile probation one on there this time.
Yeah, the Gridman Center is only $45 a day. Versus $175.
Right, it's pretty good. I noticed that. I didn't see too much
I
out of
didn't
it.
I don't think we will see bill check. I think that is state. She was checking, but I was expecting that this pay period.
Well, things have calmed down there, I think, and it's.
Yeah, she said they're trending in the right direction.
No, it looks pretty good.
So I'm looking for a motion to approve that.
I'll make a motion to approve the tables.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second for payables of $338,362.68. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 7, secondary roads, drains. We have one in drain 66, a sinkhole, and one in drain 15, a broken tile, if I am correct, Zach.
Yes. Both of these have been repaired. The tile sinkhole in drain 66, Richland section 24, east of Zephyr. Believe that was a 24-inch line. Wasn't a huge issue on that one.
How many feet roughly?
I think maybe only 10 feet. It wasn't very much. It might have even been like repairing seams, like they didn't have to replace a lot of pipe, but
Just curious.
I think that's what it was, if I remember right. And I'll do the second one too, unless you want me to split them apart. The
We can
second
approve
one,
them together in my. Yeah, go ahead.
second one is drainage district 15, Glidden Township, section 28. There's a broken tile. This one is line is right adjacent to the road, right on the shoulder of the road almost is where it runs. A little bit different situation with what drain it is. It was the old Glidden disposal plant line that the drainage district took over. I'm not sure the year without looking back at the notes, but
Probably before my time.
yeah. But it is part of drain 15. I did double check that. It shows as being part of maybe drain 93 as you look at the map, but it is part of drain 15. So there will possibly be more repairs on that line. We did fix what we could, but that was done after Thanksgiving, after we got that first snow even. So we wanted to get it fixed because of the sinkhole that was right adjacent to the road. If it would have been out in the field, we probably wouldn't have done it. But with it being that close to the road, we wanted to get that repaired. So, but the line isn't in good shape. So my guess is we will be back there at some point in time. Not necessarily next year, but we will be back there. So.
Okay, looking for approval of the one sinkhole in drain 66 and the
So
broken
moved.
tile in drain 15.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. 7B, department up.
Not a whole lot here, just the only really new news is we did make an offer and someone accepted the position for the weed commissioner slash mechanic. So we did get that person hired. They will be starting here after the first of the year, so glad to get that position filled, full staff.
Template shed is complete.
It is moved in and I'm not sure if every little, shelf is up and that type of thing, but furnace is working, water's working, running motor grader out of there.
Looks very nice.
It was a good project and glad that we got it done. It's working well. It's working well. A little bit of getting used to just how it's controlled. But overall, I think it's working well. So like to get some more wear and tear on it to see how it goes. But so far so good, I think is what I've heard this couple conversations I've had.
And your crew had this weekend.
They did. It's nice to
Nice
have
thing.
after 3 weeks of working, one off, so.
When you get everything collected on that template bed, I'd like to know what you got sticking.
Yep, there's a few things in this claim cycle that I'm kind of waiting
That's why I
for.
figured probably got everything, but just.
But I am gonna put that together, cause I think it's gonna be interesting, cause we do have another one of these buildings that we're gonna have to deal with in the next couple of years, so. Cause the mate to it is up in Litterdale,
Well,
and
we've got several of these.
Litterdale is
Identical.
identical to Templeton, so it's,
It's only the one that we use, right?
right, I believe so. Other ones have been replaced or storage.
Yes.
There's the
Any
one,
more
one in
questions?
Mount Carmel's that way too, isn't it?
That's the one, yep. We don't, no water up there, just electric, just for storage, for tires and few other things.
More questions for the engineer? Merry Christmas, Pat.
Thank you.
On that
Thanks,
rest side.
Item number 8, Courtney, our valuation report for fiscal year 26-27.
So, I sent you guys two sets of,
Pretty well last week. We had a couple questions.
the city of Carroll made, an adjustment to one of their TIF areas, so that caused our taxable value to increase. So you got an updated valuation after we did that, but everything is set in stone now, so, taxable growth or taxable value went up before the limitation, $124,332,064. About 15 million of that was rural value and 109 was urban, roughly. Which that's great. That's growth. The downside to the growth is the limitation set by the state. So I did send you that sheet that shows what they're limiting us. So if you look, I tried to highlight what the taxable growth was on the general basic side, which was 7.14%. That's more than they allow. So they reduced that by 3%. So our growth is limited to 4.02%. Great information. What we're concerned with mainly is the maximum dollars we can use. So
Courtney, back up. Where's the 4.03% on your highlighted page?
Yeah.
Second page.
under revenue growth, like
Second, third line down, we were max allowed and go straight across.
Right here.
Okay.
Well, either I got an old one or something.
I think I must.
You guys probably have the old one.
yeah, I sent out an updated one.
Oh, no,
4.02.
Hand that down, Mike, please. Yeah, mine's 3.79. Okay,
That's the old one.
okay.
The
That's-
new one was sent out a
So-
few days after that.
Thank you.
Yes. Which that's good information to know, but what we really care about is the dollars that we have to work with. So you can see that the max dollars is $6,238,565. Let's see here.
Say that number again, Courtney. I'm gonna have to write it down.
That's okay. $6,238,565.
So that dropped from the other one then.
No, it went up.
Went up.
Well, I still can't see.
It was
that.
6.2. I'm sorry. Okay,
It's
gotcha.
okay.
So
If
last
you-
year was 5.9.
Yes. Yeah, so the difference between the 6.2 and the 5.9, that's the dollars we have extra to work with on the general fund.
240,000.
It's not a lot. No, not a lot. You have to also keep in mind that we have reserves there too, so we'll just kind of have to see where the budget plays out. But yeah, it's not a huge amount. Moving down to the rural side, that one fared better, in my opinion, even though the growth was less. Taxable growth was 1.55%, no limitation on that. So we get to capture all of that growth. So the maximum dollars on the rural side is $3,892,070, which is an increase from last year's roughly 3.1. So there's more value to capture there. But what that shows to me is I don't foresee there being that much more in expenses. So I would assume that the rural levy should be able to go down a little bit, hopefully. Or the ask would be identical to the year before. Yeah.
Very good.
Is there any questions on valuation? Tried to get this done early because this is really the most important number when you're doing budget. So, and the cities appreciate it too, because they can get going.
So these numbers come from the assessor or the state?
The assessor gives me the assessed value.
Okay,
The taxable is basically based on what the state gives us for rollback.
okay. And what was rollback percent this year?
It's all different depending on the type of property.
Okay.
I can give you the list, but
Well, I think I saw, we were,
I mean,
there
there's,
was a 46, there was,
yeah, there's residential, there's ag, there's commercial, there's industrial, there's railroads, there's utilities. I can't. And they're all different. No questions on that? So, I'm just looking for a motion to, accept or approve not really approve it because I've already done that, but maybe just acknowledge receipt of.
I'll second.
we have a motion and a second. Any discussion on it? Favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
Quick reset, still.
So do you, huh?
We have a quick reset for about 2 minutes.
Third, second to. What we said?
Just for a second. Thank you.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye. So, Courtney, do you foresee next year being over 2 billion?
Just a sec.
See you, Marcy. See you, Marcy. Aye, opposed, carries. Item number 9, fiscal year auditor, supervisor, courthouse budget review.
All right, which one do you want to start with?
Auditor,
Oh, well,
alphabetical order.
oh. All right, so like the recorder, I gave you guys some comparable. I'm just gonna review this quickly because there's a lot of information on here. It's pretty similar to last year, so hopefully it looks a little familiar, but
No,
top-
when we get done though, can we go through the comparables? It's real quick, you know, not,
that's what I
Oh,
was
sorry,
gonna go
okay.
through them. Can I go through them now or?
I would rather now.
Okay, perfect. So up in the top corner, you'll see Des Moines, Boone, Benton, Bowsheet, etc. Those are counties of like valuation. So they would have similar tax dollars to work with as Carroll County. And then I just showed what the salary average was, how many employees they have, if they have part-time, how many election precincts, if they have HR, if they have a budget director. And then new this year, well, 2 things are new this year. I showed what their overall department budget is. I wanted to show that to show you how lean Carroll County is, and I think how good of a job we've done. I don't know.
This last.
You're going across the top, Courtney.
She added the budget, so she could show.
Oh, the
how
budget,
lean
okay, yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I wanted to show what a great job I think our county's done keeping our tax asking low for our department. And then I wanted to also know if the county's comparable had drains. You know, I think we have a good working relationship with our roads department on drains, but having drains in your county is more work. So I wanted to show that. Of course, all the counties didn't answer me, so you'll see there's blanks on some of them. That just means they didn't respond. So these averages kind of are the same throughout. So in the tan column or whatever color it is on yours, I just put a comparison to Carroll County. So you can see that my salary is a little higher in comparison to those counties here. My full-time, they have 1.7 more people in their office than we do. We on average have 1 less precinct. And then the budget, you can see, Carroll County's budget comparison is $225,963 less, which is pretty significant in my opinion.
So Courtney, back up to full-time employees. Should that not have a parentheses around it?
Well, we're 1.7 less than the
Yes.
average.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
And then the next one would be counties of like population. So you can see the same comparisons down below. And I know you guys don't like Washington County, so that one is in there because I didn't get the memo that you wanted them
I'm
removed,
just
but
looked up some information.
you can see Benton County's auditor salary is pretty high too, but there is like population. And then I know you guys like to see neighboring counties. So if you go down below, there's our neighboring counties. I would like to argue that some of those are not comparable, just mainly based on size alone. I don't think it's a fair comparison to compare Carroll and Audubon, in my opinion. But I did show that, and then I also went over and I took some of our neighbors, maybe little distant neighbors, that are a little bit more comparable as far as like size-wise. So there's that there.
Is that the Coralville, North Liberty, Clive, Grimes, Norwalk?
No, I'm talking about Crawford, Webster, Boone, BV, Harrison,
I'm sorry,
Cass, and
you went
Carroll.
over. Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So then if you move down, one of you asked maybe to do some cities of like population. So I just got a few of those. Those would be city clerks. I included their census numbers and their clerk salary. You can see a lot of them are metro areas just because. So I'm not sure if they're comparable, but I did get the information. And that you move over, and then we've got our area, city clerk, school board secretary, finance person, included those salaries. I didn't hear from one of the schools, so there's a note there that that's last year's. But there's those salaries there. And then we did some state positions. So those are positions within the state that are similar to like this office. And then I did a new one with just county positions, just listed a few of those to show you what those salaries are in comparison and then the years of service. So I included a 5% for salary increase. Reasoning for going above 2.8 is as follows. In 2018, I chose not to replace the full-time position. We and my staff agreed to take on the additional duties. It saved the taxpayers approximately $456,000 over those years. The counties I've used as comparables have an average staff size between 4 and 3. This does not include the auditor, as I have 2 full-time deputies. You'll see several counties do have human resource directors. A few have budget directors. I also have a column that shows the department's overall budget. You can see Carroll County's is significantly less than other counties. So a 5% salary increase for me would mean a salary of $96,417 with a budget stipend unchanged of $4,000. So in my overall budget, I have 2 columns, one with a 5% and then one with a 2.8. So I can go through that. At the top, I did put up there what the difference is tax asking wise. And that would include salary, FICA, and IPERS. So on mine, I have very limited revenue. So I have liquor licenses and beer permits. I lowered that to $3,000. You can see that it's averaging around $2,800. Cigarette permits, I lowered that. We haven't gotten $150 for several years. There's just less places applying. Miscellaneous fees, that's just like plat books and things like that. I did increase that a little bit. So the salaries we've talked about. The insurance, I did the 5%, hoping we don't need to do 5. So then we've got.
Did you reach out to him last week to see if he was
I
coming?
did, but I didn't hear back.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. So office supplies is unchanged. Postage and handling, I lowered that a little bit. Well, we do a few mailings, otherwise bills, things like that. But that was increased significantly years ago for the House File 718 where we have to mail out that notice. The first year they didn't know what it was going to cost, so I think we got overcharged, so we had a credit for like 2 years. But I think on average it's going to be less than what we were planning on originally, so I just put 13 in there versus 20 because we haven't spent that or close to that. So
Well, hopefully eventually it's gonna go away.
Well,
that
she
would be
said the
nice.
last 2 years it was 6,500 a year average.
Yeah,
Is it-
roughly.
yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to lower that because I wanted it to reflect what the actual cost might be. Mileage and subsistence, left that the same. Telephone is the same. Education training the same. I did change the description on this one because I never knew what it was for. So it's the CASA report. We just approved that a few weeks ago. 4450 unchanged. Office fees and lease, that is increasing. You can see in 25, it was almost $6,000 that we spent. So that's why I bumped that up. Dues and memberships, increased that just slightly. And office equipment, I just rounded it out at 2,900. That is general basic. General supplemental, I have 1 deputy that comes out of here. Same thing with the salaries, insurance, office supplies, unchanged. Postage and mailing, reduce that just a little bit. Employee mileage and subsistence the same. Office data, that is the same. Dues and memberships, I decreased that by 1,000. Voting machines and equipment unchanged. Election supplies, reduced that a couple $100. Official publications, reduced that by about 900. Printing and programming ballots unchanged. Elections officials mileage unchanged. Polling place rent unchanged. And then election officials, I lowered that a little bit. I usually bump it up for like the big presidential election. And then I lowered it a little bit the year after that. So I think 15 would be a good number to leave that at. And that is it for the auditor, what I budgeted for. Does anybody have any questions?
So on your election officials, that's mileage and their hourly rate.
There's two separate lines. One's for their hourly pay and the other one's for mileage. So there's 2,200 in there for mileage and 15,000 for paying them for their work.
So,
Oh, okay, thank you. You said that.
turning ballots,
Mm-hmm.
the like, 2 years ago, we spent actually the last 25, and we spent 70,000.
I spent 31 in 24.
Yeah,
It's 17.
yeah.
Yeah.
This year we're at 15, that's halfway through the year. We spend more than that.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, it is. I think fiscal November of 24. I could probably do like 20, I think, because
I would
the
fluctuate
fiscal,
every year.
yeah, the fiscal 25 would have included the presidential election. But I always like to have a little bit in there for in case we have a special.
Yeah.
So I think I could go to 20. That would cover.
I would like to change it.
Okay, I will. Yeah. So obviously the overall will be a little less, but for a good thing. That is it for the auditor's actual budget. Is there other questions on that? No? Okay. So you also got the letter on the office relocation, and I know I've talked to a few of you about this, but as we're getting closer to having a bigger general election, I wanted to bring it up again. Scott, do you want me to read through the letter or?
I think so.
Okay. I thought it'd be just a good time to talk about what we can do as a county to make this happen. So the purpose of this is to seek approval to relocate office to improve in-person absentee voting services and to centralize documents and staff operations. When we had our last big general election, we saw roughly 3,200 absentee voters in 20 days. The space we have upstairs does not work for that. People were on top of each other. Nobody had any privacy. We were blocking the elevator. We were blocking the bathroom. I know I talked about this when we were doing the project, and I agreed to try it out to see if it was going to work, but it doesn't work. There's not room to put an ADA machine up there for anybody that's handicapped to vote, which is required by federal law. And I don't think put it this way. I think if you had all those voters voting and there was a fire or something, we'd be in trouble because it just doesn't work. So anyway, and then on top of that, while I'm really proud of the remodeling job we did, I think it's awesome. Every other office up there got at least what they had, if not a little bit more. One office got a little more space because they needed it. The other two offices got their same space back, well, our office size is similar, but our storage up there is lacking. So everything that was in our vault prior is down here on this floor. And those stuff we access maybe not every day, but at least several times a week. So all of our filing cabinets and things are down here. And that's when I talk about centralizing documents. That's what I'm talking about, is the fact that we didn't get to move our stuff back upstairs with us because we didn't have the space to do so. Why I believe this matters: in-person voting volume and complexity continue to increase. The current location does not adequately support absentee voting. The current office configuration limits accessibility, efficiency, and document control in our current space ground floor storage area. Having everything centralized reduces risk, improves service, and supports election integrity. Benefits for the public, I believe: improved voter access. There'd be more accessible location for ballot drop-off, voter assistance and information, There'd be faster service because you'd be able to have more voting booths, which would reduce wait times and processing. And then I believe increased confidence, secure, transparent operations, strengthen public trust in elections. Operational improvements, staff and workflows are housed in one location, better coordination during peak election periods, and then improve continuity of operations. Document and records management, all work documents would be maintained in a single secure location. Obviously, faster retrieval for audits, public records requests, and internal reviews. And then we'd have a reduced risk of document loss or unauthorized access. And then compliance risk reduction, stronger chain of custody for absentee ballots, improved adherence to election security and ADA requirements. Let's see, fiscal responsibility. I believe that the initial cost would be offset by long-term efficiencies, reduced duplication of space, storage, and equipment, and a better use of staff time and public resources. Obviously, it expands voter access and enhances secure, transparent elections, improves operational efficiency. The action is I would just authorize the staff to proceed with office relocation plan and return with finalized costs. I do have an estimate. I think it's practical, risk reducing step that improves services to absentee voters while modernizing and centralizing our operations. I did send you guys the floor plan. So Tony kind of just drew up something real quick to kind of show what his vision would be downstairs.
So basically, for those listening or that don't understand, you're wanting to move from what we call the first floor to the ground floor.
Yes. Yes. You know, the laws have changed a lot with elections just since I've been doing it since 2014. If we don't have ample space for people to vote early and anything would happen, you know, I believe that the voters that are coming here to vote early should be treated just like they would be on election day. They should have privacy to vote their ballot. They shouldn't be right on top of each other. And there should be a place for somebody to come in that needs to use the ADA machine to be able to sit down. There also needs to be a place for somebody to sit down that needs assistance in marking their ballot in a private, secure location. If we would ever get in trouble for not having it set up the way we're required to, it's not going to fall on the Board of Supervisors. It's going to fall on me. Like, as the election commissioner, it's my responsibility to make sure that we're following the rules. And I was more than willing to try to make it work upstairs because I know that there was some worry that we needed to be on the same floor. And there is benefits for us being up there. I understand that. But I think that this would be better in the long run for absentee voting. And so we had better access to our documents that we need for our work. Did I include the quote with the information?
I didn't see it.
Okay. So this is a rough estimate because obviously he just kind of drew up some rough plans, nothing final, but it was around $58,000. And what that would do is he would put a window in that space down at the end of the hall, very similar to what's upstairs. And then, no, this would be where it's like across the hall where, yeah.
Same side of the hall was.
Yeah, so it was, yes, well, part of it was. But it would be putting basically a countertop where the assessor was temporarily. And then closing off that door and putting in a counter out in the hallway. And then he would remove what's existing in there and frame it out.
Where teachers? No, this is straight down the hall from us.
So, I mean, obviously there's other things we could do to reduce the cost. I'm even willing to move down there and see if we can make what's there now work. But it would be nice to have a counter like we have upstairs to wait on people and wait on voters. But that's what he came up with just because it was very similar to what we had upstairs. But now that we're in budget time, I thought it'd be a good opportunity to bring it up. I don't know if it's something we can get done before the next general election in November, but I don't think I'd be doing my job as the elections commissioner if I didn't bring it to your attention.
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
One is the square footage is gotta be closest inside the bathroom. You know about that?
That it probably is. It might even be smaller. I don't think our issue is not the size of the office that we have.
Yep.
It's the storage space that we have up there. It got cut almost in half.
Okay.
So the stuff that's in I want to call it our vault, even though it's not really a vault upstairs. The stuff that's in our vault now was actually in our office before. All those filing cabinets that are along the wall. Everything else that was in our vault is either in the old jail or down in the basement. So none of it that was in our vault, we were able to move back upstairs.
And the other thing is, what do you do with that space upstairs?
I think that's what she's looking for is direction. Do we even want, are we gonna entertain the thought of isn't that what you're asking?
I'm asking if the board would even consider spending the additional money. I mean, I could move down there now without board approval if I wanted to. I think that it'd be nice if we were all on the same page and that we all were in agreement on what we thought was best. Cause I mean, we could probably make it work the way it's set up now, but I don't think it'd be ideal. Like it'd definitely be nicer to have a counter to wait on people than to have them come in that small space. And then you're trying to have people come in and people go out. I just don't think it's set up very good for that.
Kind of where Mike said, I have trouble. That's a nice place up there. What do we do with that space to a worthwhile office up there? And that's my problem, I guess, with it. I understand what you're saying. I get all that stuff. I just would hate to see a place like that just set empty and people are gonna say, gosh, you guys did this big remodel project and now you got an office empty up there. That's my problem. I don't think the money's is as much of an issue either, but
Yeah, I get that.
just a thought. That's my 2 cents worth.
Yeah, that's one thing. That was what I worried about. We just spent the money on the model.
Is there anything we can do up in yours to make it work somehow? Do a brainstorming session, something we can just look at it and tell us what you want?
Well, Scott and I talked a little bit about like having people vote down here. Like,
Yes.
the office is still upstairs, people vote down here.
2 years ago, I think it was, Courtney, we were gonna put where you were gonna hire somebody full-time just to to add to your staff for those 20 days.
Mm-hmm.
So the average is there's 160 people a day. And she's got a very good point as far as it's congested where those portable voting machines are because the employees that use the bathroom, the publics that use the bathroom, and the elevator being right there.
Agree.
And there's not a whole lot of room to move people down toward the treasurer's office on that floor.
How long is that?
I agree with that.
But
part.
it's only 20 days a
You said
year.
About 20 days.
Yeah.
I think
Well, and
you
I'm
got a
sure
very
not
valid
all
point.
20 days are as busy.
I think it comes and goes in
No,
time.
it was 3,200 people in 20
So
days.
Courtney, I asked you when you talked about this, how many were mail-in? It's getting lesser and lesser where.
Well,
ours
yeah,
is-
because the window's shorter for mailing. The mailing's not the issue.
Right, but
If we
it's-
could mail them all, we wouldn't have them in the courthouse and then I wouldn't
Right.
be asking you to move downstairs. And I understand it's only 20 days, but the 3,200 was the people that came in person.
which is
And there was
160.
probably less than 1,000 that were mailed out, if I had to guess. I didn't look that up because I didn't think it was relevant to.
No, but I'm saying that
conversation.
that number is decreasing instead of going up.
Yeah,
You're
but
in
the
person.
people that it's decreasing, but that's forcing the people to come in.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that averages out, if we're open 8 hours a day, which we're 8.5, it's 20 people per hour. If you do the 3,200 divide by 20 days is 160 divided by 8 is 20 people an hour.
Mhm. And the voting is just part of this conversation. The other part is now I have my stuff on 3 different levels. Before I had it on 2 different levels. And when they asked, they came in and asked each office, what were your goals in the remodel? And my goal was, I'd like to get my election equipment out of the basement. That was my only goal. I didn't know I had to say that I needed to have the same space that I had before. I didn't know that I couldn't say, well, I don't want smaller space. I didn't. I just said I wanted my election equipment out of the basement. I got my election equipment out of the basement. I'm very grateful for that, but the space I got is not as big as what I had. And now instead of having my stuff on 2 levels, it's on 3. So I don't like to use the word, I don't feel, it's not fair. Like everybody else got what they needed. You know, they didn't get reduced in space in any way, but our office did. And now we have to figure out, okay, where was that filing cabinet at? Is it down in the basement or is it on this floor? It's just, it's a pain. It really, like, yeah, we were able to get our plat books in there, but none of the other stuff's up there. It's all in the basement in boxes still.
I'm not opposed, but I think my first choice would be to look at what you already have and see if we can condense maybe your seating arrangements. I'm just throwing that out there and do a brainstorming session that way to see if there's some stuff we
Use
could
what's
move
up there more
upstairs by
efficiently.
moving stuff. There's a lot of space up there. I get it. And you guys
Yeah.
got room, but that'd be my first step for me. I'd like to look at that first before I would say we're gonna do this.
And you're talking about like getting our cabinets and
Well,
stuff
it's
up
just,
there.
I don't know what y'all have, Courtney. See what we have and maybe, trying to do that somehow,
Yeah.
Maybe we can get them up there.
One thing I'd just like to throw in the conversation is back when the remodel happened and the court records that used to be out at the old county home got put in the basement of our nature center. And I know the courts would like to have them back in the courthouse. I don't know if, upstairs, that would be 1 floor away from the courts. I don't, if you're looking for things to put places.
They fit well out there. No, I just.
They're out of sight, out of mind right now.
It's the best place for them, but just to bring it up, they are still out there. They've been out there for a while, but sure.
No, it's good.
Well, I like we didn't hear that.
But Mark, you're thinking of like a Pella, the way they've done all the lean exercises.
Just have a
as
couple,
far as
3 of us
being
go up there, work with Courtney,
more
see what
efficient
y'all
on
has
space.
and see what we got for footprint and space. And I don't mean to cramp you into a little bit of nothing. I don't mean that at all, but is there something we can do? Maybe that kitchenette could be moved over and you can put some stuff on that wall. I'm just thinking out loud here.
Well, it
outside
didn't
the
help,
box.
when we had to make those bathrooms all ADA compliant.
No, I
What we
that's where
should have
she got
did is
shorted.
took that, made one bathroom up to
But that,
general public and put a dang lock on the door instead of having 2 bathrooms.
where she lost the most was losing the Board of Supervisors room for the overflow of the voting people to go in and vote, correct?
Yeah, we use that room all the time.
And now,
Because it was perfect for people that needed to sit down
Yeah.
and needed help.
for the 20 days, could she find somebody? We had a discussion Thursday or Friday on this. Party balance perhaps, if they moved voting down to this floor. The steps are less than ideal coming in the east entrance. There is ADA accessible if you come around. But if you come in the front door, then you're gonna have to go down the elevator.
I have to bow out. I've got an appointment here, so I gotta get to, so. I'll just give you a report. I had CCGP Tuesday. Yes Center got canceled Friday. Did the newspaper last week, and I also did finish up the CEO's evaluation. And I want to present that to him here in the near future. And this week, all I got is do some sign some papers yet of new opportunities.
Have Merry Christmas.
Yeah, Merry Christmas to you all.
Merry Christmas, Gene. We temporarily suspended item number 9 for a minute. Steve. Okay, back to it, Courtney, sorry.
Okay. So, I mean, talking about getting somebody hired for 20. Probably, I'm guessing, south. For the people to work 8.5 hours a day for 20 days. That's figuring FICA, and taxes that it would cost us. My only concern about that is where am I gonna find? I mean, the hardest part of my job, and I'm including budgets and everything else, and elections, is finding people to work elections. And I mean, I've been lucky, I always have people stepping up, but it's a struggle to find people to work elections for one day. I'm worried that I'm gonna have to struggle trying to find not only people to work on election day and be dealing with that, trying to get that set up, and then also worrying about getting somebody here and that'll show up every day for 20 days.
No, I'm
It-
just,
And then the cost, it's about $6,000. And I know that's less than remodeling a space, but over time,
I just hate that office space sitting there and you're a core.
I
core
get it.
person of our
It's
Oh,
prime
house,
real
yeah.
estate and
And
the area is.
That's the only thing I worry, part of what I worry about
I get that.
is that.
Feel like that need to be tabled and looked at.
Absolutely. That's why I'm bringing it up
Yep.
during budget time.
I agree.
But I would like to point out that if it doesn't get done, we are not gonna have the people be voting on the first floor for the November election. Probably can get by for the primary because there's a lot less turnout.
Which is June 2nd.
Yeah. But I believe for the general, we're gonna be busy. It's gonna be, there's contested races statewide, and I'm not sure if there will be county, but that all matters. The turnout's not as great as a presidential, but it will
But
be
so
busy.
If we had, we've talked about a bunch of things, but I never asked this. So if you had $6,000, do you think, what would it take IT wise? If we tried, I think we should try it first, but for one general election, if it was moved to this floor, what resources would it take? Just forget having an office in there, just have people and the bare minimum IT to hand out ballots, and they could use this room and this whole floor.
Well, I think
hallway.
that's gonna be a non-issue. That's gonna be minimal cost, if any. My worry is how do I find two people that will work for me for 20 days that I trust, that are party balanced, that'll be here every day. You know what I mean? Like, it's just an added stress for me when right now we're already doing it.
So if it was your staff, they don't have to be party balanced. It's only if they are
No, if it,
poll workers.
I was told it was a gray area if you
Okay.
take absentee voting out of the actual auditor's office. It was a gray area if it's on a different level. Because technically, if you had somebody down here doing absentee voting, that's not in the auditor's office. It's downstairs in the courthouse. It's a gray area.
So
I would feel more comfortable if it was party balanced being the commissioner of elections, because I don't want somebody coming in and saying, well, I know she's Republican and she was the only one down there handling the ballots, and you don't
So
want that.
if you were to find two people and those people during their lunch hour, then you or one or two of your staff could come down and run it, correct? And then,
Good.
yeah.
Yeah. But there again, you're gonna find two people. And it's just more work on my end when we're doing that now. You know, we're dealing with the absentee people now. And we have people that'll come in and help us for big elections for a few hours here and there, and it works out great. They're willing to do that. And it's mostly retired employees. They'll come in, but they don't want to work 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. They'll come in and help, but
How many portable stations did you set up last election? Is there 3 or 2?
I set up 2 and then a table, and it was, I mean,
For the last city school, just a couple weeks?
no.
Okay.
For the last,
general.
the city school, I just had booths, but when we got busy towards the end, there was people voting on the recorder's counter. And it's not ideal, like there's no voting booth there. Yeah,
I'd personally, I could help. I'd be on the team or whatever. I think a couple of us, we could do that. And I think we need to look at doing your place first and then come back to this later. That's my suggestion.
yeah, and we talked about, when we moved in there, we're like, this isn't gonna work. We're like, well, maybe we could have the voters come in our office somehow.
Yeah.
Because we have space. But then it's like, we deal with a lot of personal information, whether it's employees or other things, and it's like, and then you've got that to worry about. Plus, we have election supplies in there, and those are supposed to be in a secure location, and then, I don't know,
Nope, I get it. I totally
Yeah.
get it, but I think we should think outside the box quick.
I am
come up
open
with-
to thinking outside of
go
the
from there.
box, 100%. I'm
I'd
just,
be willing to look and see what you already have downstairs or whatever, and if there's any way we could move something up, move something around, reorganize your office space up there to get it to work the way it needs to work.
It is, I've seen it firsthand, and I agree. If the elevators and bathroom weren't that in, and we could have that space, it would be a lot easier. But with people coming and going and squeezing through there, you can't just put those tables back in that area, or the portable election.
you can,
Booths.
even Zach couldn't get around to do his job because there wasn't room for his cart to go through there when there was people voting.
So what's the board's recommendation? She's looking for direction, aren't you, Courtney, or not?
I recommend we table it and,
Yeah, I was not,
Election.
not looking for a decision by any means. I just wanted to bring it up since I had the floor
Yeah.
plan and the cost, and wanted to tell you how I felt.
you
In an
get
open
time works for
meeting.
you, send me a meeting request, whatever you want to do, and I'd be happy to go just look at it and get a broader idea.
Okay, that covers the.
Okay.
Next I have the supervisors, unless you want to do the courthouse.
Supervisors.
Okay. This one, pretty cut and dry. I don't think I made a ton of changes. Look through here again. It's been a while since I looked at this.
Another one for us with this. Would just the insurance change the 0% increase?
Okay,
Sorry.
no, that's okay.
He's proposing another freeze for the board of supervisors again this year.
Just to have her run the numbers like,
Oh, I
she
see.
did on hers, but have a column with 0 and
Yes,
2.8.
yes, yes.
And then one with 15.
Okay,
No.
I'm confused what you're saying.
okay.
Would you guys agree, let me back up. Is there would it be a waste of Courtney's time to do a 0 other than the insurance?
I would
It's
agree
not
with
a
that.
waste
Okay,
because the
0
number's already. in.
Raise, I don't think
Okay.
we need a raise.
We would just basically add to the insurance on the fiscal
Absolutely.
25, 26
Yep,
budget.
yep.
Anyway, go ahead, Courtney, sorry.
All right, so I left your office supplies the same. Now that you guys have a printer, we're gonna start charging you for paper
Okay.
or letting you guys buy
One of the,
paper.
one of the supervisors used quite a bit of it.
Mark
Yeah.
and Scott.
And it's fine. I'm kind of messing with you, but I'm just leaving it in there in case
Oh,
maybe
I agree.
you guys could buy some paper.
Yep, and printer cartridge.
Start printing mine.
Board proceedings, I usually, I'm gonna increase that a little bit because you can see in 25 it was significant. Mileage and subsistence left the same. Telephone I increased a little bit. Education and training is the same. Legal and court, I reduced this and I forgot my notes, but it has to do with HIPAA and Renee von Bokren. But I had all the dollar amounts upstairs.
It
and
was
left
6
up
grand,
there.
yeah.
What telephone services?
You guys pay for a line.
Okay,
That desk, on that desk in there.
okay,
Yeah.
no problem.
It works. I mean, I've called people on
Yeah.
it. I don't know if it's worth $720 a year, but
Oh.
I'm just
it
curious.
works.
And dues and memberships I increased, and like I said, I have that
Is that because
upstairs.
the NACO perhaps a part of that?
No, it was something that went up and I'd have to, I could
So-
tell you guys, I forgot my cheat sheet.
Which one does ISAC and NACO come out of? Is it educational and training or dues and membership?
I believe it's dues and membership.
Okay, thank you.
So really that pretty minimal.
Yep.
On your guys's, unless you guys feel there's something in there that needs to be changed more.
I'm okay with it.
And
On to
then
the courthouse.
the courthouse, let's see here, salaries, 2.8. Insurance 5%. Custodial the same. Telephone, I reduced that one a little bit. Gas, this would be Zach. And then I reduced the natural gas as well. Electric, I increased. Water, I increased. Maintenance repair, I increased that a little bit. Kind of back to where it was in 25. Equipment maintenance, courthouse, same. Extermination. I increased that a little bit. Keep in mind, this covers like we pay for extermination services at all those tower sites for Essex. So it looks like a big number, but it's for more than one location. I think that also includes the jail and the Fricky building as well.
That, for the maintenance courthouse,
Yeah,
we have blown over that this year, so is that something that needs to go up?
no, it's the fobs and the doors are coming out of that right now and it just hasn't gotten moved yet.
We did.
So that project, we paid for it initially out of here and now we're gonna move it. Looks like I didn't put anything in sanitation. I'll just leave that the same, $2,100. Oh, maybe I put it. No, I don't know. I'll have to look at that because the sanitation should be.
Down the line.
Yeah, I might have not gotten anything in the ag part for the courthouse, which would probably be 25 because that's what it was last year. So 2,100 for sanitation, 2,500 for ag. And safety committee, unchanged at 5,000.
What comes out of that?
Mainly the hearing tests
Okay.
for people that need it.
Okay.
And the med chests refills every year.
Was that up? Yep, thank you.
Yeah, well, you can see we went over in 25 by 60. Well, not over because we had 8 in there. I think we did a budget amendment, but. So that, and I don't have anything, I talked to Scott a little bit, I don't have anything budgeted in the capital fund. Sometimes we'll take some money out of the general and move it into the courthouse capital for future projects. There's roughly about $100,000 in there. So I did not do
Yet to
anything
be
for this year.
determined. Okay,
That's all I have for those.
thank you.
Thanks,
Mhm.
Courtney.
Approval of plats, we have 3 of them. Sarah sent us a updated street name on one of them, but I'll go through them, we can approve them all together. One requested by Tanner Freese, owned by Bradley J. Killian Living Trust, south of 330th and west of Mahogany. Number 2 is requested by Chad Kirkhoff, owned by Mary Jo Sack and David and Cindy Freese, north of 220th and east of Highway 71. Third one requested by Anthony Greiser and owned by Greiser Farms LLC on the southeast corner of Highway 30 in Quail. Anybody have an issue with any of those?
They look good to me. I'll make a motion to approve the plats.
I'll second.
We have a motion and a second to approve plats. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? Motion carries. Item number 11, consider for approval Carroll County ID badge policy. I think this, do you want to speak to it, Mark, as far as,
Just a policy we
the
approved.
safety committee?
Safety Committee approved, you were there at the meeting too, but it's all Carroll County employees are required to wear and display their county issue ID badges at all times while on duty and while present in the county facilities, unless there's some exceptions, like for secondary roads, sheriffs, there's a few exceptions there. The badges must be worn above the waistline, but below the shoulders or attached to the belt line and facing forward and outwards and visible at all times. More of a safety thing than anything else. You guys were on this, but we need to be a little safer than we are here with people come in, we don't know who they are sometimes, snooping around, looking around, and this way everybody's got a place and a badge and they can say, I work with Carroll County. And it's also the key fob, the badges will work as key fobs so they can get into their, into the buildings and into certain offices and areas throughout the courthouse where they couldn't before. And it also works as a checks and balances as far as we can tell what time a person comes in, what time they leave. If something, they come in late at night and something be an issue, you maybe have somebody to talk to if something was going on. So I think it's very good policy. I think it should work well. So I guess we're looking for the board to vote on this to make it set in stone that this is what we're gonna do.
Hey, Mark,
I'll
Yeah.
say,
was conservation listed under the exceptions?
Yes.
and this is probably not perfect. This is better than a first draft because it went around the safety committee for a while. Most employees have been wearing their badges and most have been keeping their doors locked. Courtney, wouldn't you agree on the first floor? It's not, like I say, it's not policy yet. And I wouldn't be surprised if there's a revision A or B coming up to this. We find something small, but I think it's a great start.
It's
The
a
safety,
start.
I mean, I
Jason,
applaud you and the safety.
Nothing in here about locking the doors.
No, what's here, as Jason says, for you guys, for the conservation, it's exempt from the visible display requirement when engaged in field work, manual labor, or other outdoor duties, where wearing the badge could interfere with your work or create a safety issue. Now, if you come to the courthouse, you may want to have your badge on so you know what you're doing here, but same with secondary roads, I believe the same thing. It's going to interfere with your work and safety reason, now you don't need to have it on, so.
And Courtney, you're right. It doesn't say anything about locking the doors, but I think that would be up to the offices and it's assumed that they will be locked for safety as far as, we just had that drill last week.
Good.
Yeah, we're.
But I don't know that we can necessarily mandate that they have to at this point. That's not the, exactly. It's the intent, but it's not, I don't know that we need it in writing. But so I guess, yeah, I'm looking for a motion for this. Like I say, this has been kicked around and this was
As a county attorney.
not to my knowledge, I didn't present it to him. And nobody at his office was at the last safety committee meeting when it was approved.
I think there's nothing wrong with it. I think it's a great thing and it's promoting safety, which everybody should care about, so.
Absolutely.
Well, and identification of who's who and yes, that works for who's Yes.
I like the key thing. I like how it can cut time. It's just all around great. So I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve this policy.
You can second.
I'll second it.
We have a motion and a second. Like I said, there may be changes coming up, but I think, so in your motion, Stephanie, are you saying that you want this to go into effect today or next Monday? Or what?
It says
what
it's
date?
effective upon approval.
On approval?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
So we need to send a memo out to all the departments in, so.
I can.
Okay,
Right,
thank
we
you.
have,
Most of them are very well aware. When we did that walkthrough, we said lock your doors and.
We
leave your
did, but I
bags.
want to make sure they know it's in
Yep, we can do
black
it.
and white that this is what's gonna happen.
all right,
You guys
we
have copies of this? You don't have copies of this? We need-
does. I will run my safety meeting, so I will.
We need to send copies probably then of this to Jason and some of the
I think
departments.
Courtney's got a mass email she can send it to. Okay, anyway, we got a motion and a second. It'll be effective upon signature or upon approval today. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed? Nay. 3-1, motion carries. Item number 12, manure management annual updates. Hillside, section 30, Arcadia Township, name change. Item number 13, committee reports.
I go first. I don't know much to, report on. I gotta meet with Amy on secondary road today. Other than that, I have nothing else to go.
Merry Christmas to you, bud.
Thank you.
I can do it.
Thank you guys.
Last week I had 12 meetings, and then I also attended the safety meeting and did the walkthrough with safety crew on the policies and things that are gonna be going on in the future. The rest of the week, I don't have anything.
Last week, Monday, I did go to the city council meeting. They swore in 2 new members. Tuesday was active shooter training on the first floor. I did go to the 10 o'clock safety committee meeting, and at noon went to CCGP. Wednesday was the executive board meeting at the recycling center. We approved the budget for fiscal year 27. Trevor Reese is the new director starting December 31st, 2025. Mary will be slowly phasing out. It'll be a smooth transition. Wednesday, I also met with Sarah and Courtney on, Sarah had a lot of questions on her GIS and PNC insurance splits. And Courtney saved the day and, said there's a formula to figure that out. I did meet with Zach and the sheriff, not Zach Anderson, Zach Niehaus, on the possible future state of the comm center. We need a sketch of that, and it doesn't have to be detailed. We don't have to hire a consultant, but just of what it possibly could be if we ever regionalize or they were to ever add a 3rd station, which Jason suggested. Wednesday also attended the City of Carroll strategic planning meeting at 12. Interesting meeting. It was a good couple hours. Thursday, roads claims and courthouse claims. Friday was chamber coffee at the chamber office. This week, nothing planned, and Merry Christmas to everybody.
Last week, we had active shooter training in the courthouse, safety meeting afterwards, which we approved the badge wearing. Had a DCAT meeting on Wednesday. The funding is kind of going away from that. I feel bad for that, but they're going to kind of combine it. It's not set in stone yet, but like all the other cuts going on in the state, it could be going away. Molly Scott, the director, actually said she wouldn't mind stepping away from this. So we'll see more to come after a while on this. I don't know if I just mentioned this last time, I got the contract for the opioid speaker. I've been working on that. I need to confirm with all the schools the date and the time, whether it's a morning session or afternoon session, and the date. And I've got all but one school has replied back. So I'm sure I'm gonna have to wait till after the holidays now to get the other one to do that. Chamber coffee at the chamber office. Very good, very good. Kimberly did a nice job talking at that. And I have nothing going on this week. So everyone have a safe and Merry Christmas.
Perfect. Comments from those in attendance? We've already heard from one of you a couple times, both of you. Courtney, next week, we're meeting Monday and we're gonna have a couple budgets.
We'll meet on Monday and on Friday.
Yep.
Friday's meeting, I'm planning on just having the appointment thing,
Yep.
so it shouldn't take long.
I had one more thing to the end of that.
Okay, and then Monday, I have environmental health and IT gonna present their budgets.
Is that the last two? Is county attorney, can I call him or I'm gonna call him
You
and ask him?
could, I'm waiting on a couple more, but,
Who else?
well, I wasn't gonna call it out.
Will you be ready next week? Well, let me back up.
Doing Wednesday, 3rd?
Christmas.
Wednesday.
Tentative plan, I don't know who the chair is gonna be next year, but, January 19th is when we would like to, go through the nonprofit, the elected people. I don't know that we're gonna have unions done by that. We're still waiting a letter from them, but we would like to 98% wrap up the budget.
It'd be for sure, I mean, the first meeting in January, if not next week.
So January 5th then would be,
I think I could have it done by.
okay.
I mean, I don't know why I couldn't.
And then the 12th, for sure, we'll try to have everybody wrapped up. I don't know if one of you two needs to reach out to the union and ask them, but it seems like, in years past, we've already received their initial letter by now. And Courtney, you haven't heard anything,
I
correct?
have not.
So anyway, Zach, as far as, there's still time.
Sure, well, I think by the 5th, probably not by next week.
Okay, because the 12th, we're gonna have one member absent, and I don't know what everybody else's plans are, but the 19th, we should have a full crew on board as far as making all the final decisions. I think the auditor would like to have all those numbers by then also.
Yeah, I told him that the most important thing as far as our levy is concerned is to know how much he needs from the rural and the general fund.
Yep.
Because that's gonna affect the levy, and he said he'd get that to me, so his in his department, it doesn't affect our levy. But
Gotcha.
obviously you guys need to know what's going on in there, but it doesn't affect the levy, so it's not as time sensitive, in my opinion, as just finding out what those two things need.
I think I'll send Kurt a text today and ask him. Okay. All right, looking for a motion to adjourn. Second.
Second.
We have a motion and 2 seconds. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed? We are adjourned 11:07.
You got batteries over there?